Hey, welcome back to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Haunt. Sorry it's not been a video for a little while. I've not been well. I'm still not entirely 100%, but, content needs to be made and nerding needs to be done. There's a bit of a different episode this time. We're going to talk about some retro stuff from the Argos catalogue, the Spring-Summer 1988 Argos catalogue. For many of us, we remember the Argos catalogue fondly, well, like the last part of it when it gets exciting. So on this episode, I'm going to talk about some of there's a bit of retro tech first, but then we're going to go and get into the toy section, the 1988 toy section. So I will have been, summer 1988, I would have been 10, and at the height of various fascinations. So let's go, let's see what we had in Argos catalogue 1988. If any of you from overseas are not familiar with what Argos is, we had a catalogue. Now it's all digital little tablets. You would go in and you would find the thing listed on these tablets or in the catalogue. Take a little slip of paper to the counter, and then the staff would go into the back into the warehouse and bring you the items. So it was weird. It wasn't a shop you would browse in itself. You would browse the catalogue. Like now you do it on the tablets. You order on the tablets and you go and pay. But it's an interesting one. It's always something that brings back great memories. In particular, when you get to this section, which is like all the tech and the stuff that just takes me back to an age where, Walkmans were new. It was still very exciting. I'm getting to be an old man, so this is nostalgia heavy, this episode. But yeah, tape players with radios on. The foam on the headphones, it was that era. So first of all, in this edition of the Argos catalogue here, this is on page 234, just for reference, if you want to go and look at it yourself. We've got Walkmans, and they look glorious. Sanyo, Toshiba, all Sanyo, Alba, there's an Alba there as well, and a Ferguson. Great stuff, and this is how we consume music back then. So on the next page, we've got some boom boxes. Now, this took me right back. So I had a boombox for years, and it was great. And the story I always tell people about that boombox, which is a little bit weird, is that I broke the aerial, and it made the radio better. And I got stations from all over the world. It was really, really cool. But these were an essential. You could make mixtapes with them. You could record off the radio, which is always good. And you could get the late night radio talk shows. For me, back when I lived in Sheffield, my hometown, it was Night Owls on Hallam FM, and it was a big thing at school if you could get on Night Owls. And I did go on once, but I was censored because I talked about a teacher. I complained about a teacher I had. So, but badge of honour the next day. That was pretty awesome. So look at these. These are great. The ones with detachable speakers, I don't remember ever having one of those or seeing those around. I always saw the solid ones that were just one unit, but such cool things. Take me right back. Look at this, no Bluetooth or anything. Those Hitachi ones, as 3D super woofers. I had one of those. Not those, neither of those models, but I had one very similar. That's so cool. And of course we've got radios now. Of course these would all be DAB now. But not back then at all. And you got the alarm clocks. Everyone needed an alarm clock, and they were always red and sinister, staring at you in the dark. These take me back as well. I don't remember us having many of these, but I know we had some of these. The drawers that you would keep cassettes in, and VHS tapes or records, and the revolving ones. See the revolving ones at the side where you put VHS in the sides, and it would turn, so it would maximize the use of your space. Always a really cool idea. Really fun, those. But this is the sort of thing that takes me back. And the stereo units, of course, still with the cassettes, 2 cassettes, so you could record from them. There's one with a karaoke set there with a mixer on it and all sorts, so you could all have a go. You could even probably make your own rudimentary radio shows, test podcasts, podcasts. Here we've got one of my, of course, I'm biased because of my interest in VHS, but there's the blank VHS tapes and the head cleaner there. You gotta have a head cleaner back then. It was important to keep your head clean, indeed. But that's just really cool to see, especially the Scotch ones. Now, in our days now of 4K TVs and OLED displays and UHD and so on, looking at something like this with tiny, tiny screens, like 14-inch, 18-inch, 20-inch screens, and the boxy CRT nature of them, that takes me back to a separate era very quickly, because you don't see them now. Maybe in the corner of the occasional pub you'll see a CRT still somewhere like that, but these are just antiques now, much like me. As well, these got the miniature TVs. Miniature TVs. They were generally black and white. I think there was a couple of colour ones, but they're a lot more expensive. But you got little black and white sets there, tiny ones. Never had one. Still kind of want one, even though it wouldn't do anything. I still kind of want one of those little TVs, because I like the idea of a tiny TV. Of course, I could just get a tablet or one of those like mini caravan TV screens, but I just think those are really, really cool. Now, this took us into the electronics bit. You knew when you were getting past the stereos and stuff like that, and you started seeing like the speak and spell and stuff like that, you knew you were getting towards the toys, and it was going to get awesome. So what we got is, I see the speak and spell, some educational ones. There's some watch and play, sorry, game and watch items there. They were fun. See the glow of nostalgia. It's not just my red light, it's the glow of nostalgia when I see stuff like the Tommytronic 3Ds. These the items that all have binoculars there on the side. Those were cool. I had Astro Wars as well. So the boxy silver thing, that way on the other page next to the 3 binocular type things, I had the Astro Wars there. It was basically like Space Invaders / Gallagher, but I loved it dearly. And from those 3 Tommytronic 3Ds, the binocular video games, I had the maroon one, which is like 3D Tank Attack, and you would put them up to your eyes and play them with the buttons on the top. And there were 2 images. There were different images in each eye section, so they would give you a rudimentary 3D effect. And they were so fun, and I played those for hours and hours. Absolutely superb things. Now we've got here Starcom. Starcom was a great idea. If you don't remember what Starcom was, I think that's Manta Force as well. That's not Starcom at the side. Let's have a look. Let's zoom in there. Oops, I've gone to the other page now. Yeah, Starcom, it was Manta Force, yes, I was right. The big ship there, that was Manta Force. So Starcom didn't need any batteries. That was all worked through like clockwork and magnets. So stuff would transform and weapons would come out. Batteries would never run out because there weren't any batteries. And Manta Force was just like I think it was just a British range that was in like department stores, and it had big spaceships with lots of small spaceships inside and lots of tiny, tiny figures. And my not claim to fame, but my big moment with Manta Force toys was that I won the big red ship, Red Venom. I think it was called Red Venom, in a giveaway. My mum had bought me some of the little figures, and I got to sign up to this giveaway. And then, like 2 days later, she picked me up from school and said, "You've won. Come on, let's go get this toy." And it was this huge box, giant red spaceship with all the other little spaceships to come out of it, and the vehicles and the figures and the missiles and stuff, and it was just the best. Happy memories of awesome toy days. What else have we got in here? We've got Scale Electric, of course. The board games. Let's see if I remember any of these. I didn't really go for the football ones, never been a fan of football, but I remember stuff like Hungry Hippos, Mousetrap, Pig Pong, and things like that. But down there at the bottom, we have a beautiful thing. Let me show you that. There we are, Screwball Scramble. That was amazing. I never had Kongman, always wanted that, but Screwball Scramble was brilliant. I got it one Christmas, and you did need a certain amount of skill for it. Just looking at the image on there now, I can still hear the sound of each part, and the timing you had to do to get each part around within a minute before the timer went off. You needed to practice. You needed to practice a lot of things, but that was a lot of the case with a lot of games back then was, like video games, was timing rather than anything else. What else have we got there? Guess Who, played that. Go for Broke, played that. Game of Life, of course. You got Blockbusters. How many of you out there in the UK anyway will hear the name Blockbusters and straight away you can hear the theme tune? Great theme tune. Stuff like Dingbats was fun. I had Dingbats, that was fun. Where you had to tell what things were from the pictures that we used. It was like Wingdings, basically. Scruples, Dare, and things like that. And everyone's favourite game for destroying families, Monopoly. Right, let's move on to what we got. We're going to get into some more of the toys here. Lego. I got Lego Technic. Lego Technic was just starting to come out. The Constructs, I remember Constructs. Had some Bolt and Build. I think I may have had one Construct set, one or two of those. Don't really remember which ones, but now, here we are. The best pages. Awesome. Okay, so let's start on the first page. We've got the Ghostbusters. We've got the original Ghostbusters figures. Egon Spengler, Peter Venkman, Winston Zeddemore, Ray Stantz with their coloured neutrino ones that had the beams coming out of them. And they had a handle on the back and you could make the beams spin around. Each of them came with one of those jelly ghosts. So cool. There's Ecto-1 there as well, of course, Ecto-1. There's the Slimer that came with like a foam pizza, a foam watermelon, and I think that was a steak. There was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man figure, which was only like this big. It needed to be like, it's supposed to be like 112 feet tall or something. So, while it was never that size, it was cool. And didn't have the yellow ghost, but I had friends who I played with that had the yellow ghost, and it made ectoplasm bubbles out of the mouth. You've got like there's one of the neutrino blasters there. Had the full pack, had the full backpack version myself. Down at the bottom, on both pages, there's some 80s gold here. Down here we've got. Oops, let me go back to the right page. That would be helpful. We've got some Supernaturals down here, and that is so cool. So Supernaturals, if you don't remember those, they were like a bit big, somewhere between He-Man and Thundercat size figures. They were only articulated at the shoulders and the thighs, but they had holograms in their chest that showed them like before and after, like a good and an evil, or like a normal and then like a horrible hologram. And they had shields that had hologram images on them, and the holograms were a big part of those characters. The vehicles also had holograms on them as well. Now over here we've got Visionaries. Again, more holograms on the chest and the banner, like the standards and the vehicles. Great cartoon series, only lasted 13 episodes, just one series of it out there, worth seeing. But that was, again, one of the casualties of the brief craze in putting holograms on toys. The holograms looked amazing. The toys were really cool. There came lots of accessories, and there was, even just in that one series of the cartoon, there was quite a rich backstory, a rich lore to it all, which was really, really fun. But I missed them. I missed them terribly, those. Those were really, really fun toys. Hold a special place in my heart. On the next page, we've got Mask. Look at that. There's classics, all the classics from Mask there. Mask had really taken its grip for the brief time that it did have a grip, with the transforming cars and the characters that had masks on that gave them special abilities. We've got Thundercats on the next page. I don't remember, apart from the top one there, I don't really remember the other Thundercats vehicles. But that is really nice to see. I didn't have any of the vehicles, but I had 3 items from that page. So I did have, over here, I had the Sword of Omens, I had the Lion-O, and I had the Mumra. I didn't have the guy with the big fist. I think he was a bit disturbing. But yeah, the Lion-O and the Mumra, they came with a power ring with a battery in it, and you put it against the back and their eyes would glow, and it was very cool. We had simple taste then back in the 80s. Down at the bottom of the page here, we've got Brave Star, but the best part there, I know there's 3 Transformers, but there's only one there that really matters to me, and that is Scorponok, the big dude in the middle. I got that, I think it was Christmas '88, I got that, and it blew my mind. It was huge. It was triple changes, so it would be the Scorpion, it would be the robot, and it would be the Decepticon base. It had stuff that came off. It had all these kinds of weapons and hatches and things. Just the coolest thing possible. Yeah, a happy wave of nostalgia for these. And it's funny how items will ground you and remind you of a specific era, but those just make me really happy seeing those. And then we get onto the girl stuff, which I really naturally wasn't really my thing, but I absolutely acknowledged that it was cool and it had its audience there. I love My Pet Monster there is awesome. But these things don't really give me the same bit of nostalgia. Although in the corner there's Mr. Frosty, and there's the Tomy racing games. Those take me back. And then the ubiquitous packs of Crayola, musical instruments, and the little vehicles and sports stuff. And the slides and stuff like that. And then it got back onto the prams and everything, and into the serious sports stuff. I say serious, but there's darts there. But anyway, that was a really fun look through the 1988 Spring-Summer Argos catalogue. Had a bunch of stuff from there. It was great to see the technology, great to see those toys. What were your favourite things from that era? I'm going to do some more of these, exploring some more of these catalogues. Maybe not just Argos, but I'll see if I can find some others, maybe Index or something like that. And we'll see what we can find in those. But do let me know in the comments down below what were your favourite things from the summer of 1988, if indeed you were alive or you remember. Judging by my demographic, I think we were all alive at that point, but our memories, as they are, and elements that have come into our lives since then, they may not be entirely that clear. I'm Andrew Hort. I write books about VHS and cult movies. There is another one coming out soon, vhsatemybrain, Heavy Metal Horrors. Do look out for that, and stay tuned here for more videos. Also check out the new channel I'm a part of. I've only put one video up on there so far, but there are lots of collaborators on there. It's called Grot, and that is the cult film fanzine and YouTube channel. It's going to be a podcast and all kinds of stuff going on with that. That's fun as well. But thank you for watching this episode of Planet Hex.